I'm John Sadler, president of Sadler Sports Insurance, and we've been the endorsed insurance agency for AYF and AYC for many years. And I'd like to take about 10 minutes today to talk to you about what I think you need to know about your insurance and risk management plan. COVID has never been a significant liability risk in amateur sports. The reason is it is almost impossible to prove that a negligent transmission occurred at your event. So far, we've had clients who played at least 2 seasons during COVID, and I can tell you at Sadler & Company, we've had no AYF or AYC clients that have had a COVID transmission lawsuit. None of our clients nationally have had a COVID transmission lawsuit, and I've done some checking around, and the claims departments I've spoken to from some of our competitors have not had any lawsuits either. But COVID's probably here to stay and will continue to flare up from time to time. And when it does, you should still follow your state and local guidance, and you should still implement our COVID risk management plan as needed. Let's talk a minute about what the experts got wrong. First of all, they place way too much emphasis on wiping down surfaces and equipment. The CDC now says that there's only a 1 in 10,000 chance of becoming infected from a surface that's contaminated with COVID. Also, contact sports are higher risk, but that's offset if they're outdoors. And where the true spread occurred in amateur sports was social interaction off field. And that would be in terms of carpools and indoor team meetings and other indoor functions. We negotiate our renewal rates every April for the May 15 release date when our online enrollment system is live. What we negotiate is based entirely on our loss history. The carriers look at 5 years going back into the past of losses as compared to premiums, and they determine a loss ratio. If the loss ratio is too high, that requires a rate increase. Now, there are 2 elements to the loss ratio. You have the claims in the numerator and the premiums in the denominator. So it's very important in the numerator on the loss side for all of our AYF, AYC members to implement our recommended risk management to reduce claims, especially the larger ones that can be prevented. And on the denominator side, it's very important for our members to accurately report all teams when they enroll for coverage, because the insurance carrier needs to collect the proper premium to offset the risk. Here's our website at sadlersports.com/AYF, where we deliver all insurance and risk management services. You can scroll down the page and you'll see where we list our per team rates for accident and general liability by division and age group. You can also see where we list our rates for directors and officers, crime and equipment. If you scroll up to the top, notice the red button. Click here for instant online quote and print. And once you click there, you can actually get your quote. You can key in some more information. You can pay for your insurance, and in real time, you can print off your proof of coverage documents and your certificates for your field owners. So the entire process could take as little as 10 minutes. And if you scroll down further, you'll notice we have a section called Quick Education. And this is the perfect section for whoever is in charge of purchasing your insurance to review these bullet points. And it'll tell them pretty much all they need to know about buying insurance. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll find the all-important risk management section with content just for AYF and AYC. And it covers a number of issues here, such as contractual transfer to other parties, sex abuse, molestation, brain injury, COVID, other serious risk, and has templates to all of our risk management programs that I'm going to be talking about today. And then once your coverage is in force, you can scroll down to Service for Current Clients, and you can retrieve all of your current documents, your proof of coverage, your certificates for your facility owners. You can actually issue new certificates for facility owners 24/7. You can file a claim. You can add, delete teams. You can update your contact information. Even though we have the best and the fastest and the most convenient website in the industry, at some point during the season, you may still need to contact our trained staff. You might have a question about your coverages or about our risk management content. You may need a special certificate of insurance that has some unusual language required by a municipality. You may have questions about how to add, delete teams or to file a claim. And we're one of the few insurance agencies in the industry that actually has a ticketing system that manages all the service requests that come in by phone and email. And I can tell you that when the tickets are closed, 97% of our clients grade our performance with a smiley face. And that's something that we're very proud of. We have 5 different insurance policies. The first is a $100,000 accident policy. That pays medical bills on behalf of injured participants. The rates vary per team, per age group, per deductible option. I can tell you that $500 is now the most common deductible option. We also have a general liability policy. We have options of $1, $2, or $5 million. It covers certain types of lawsuits that allege bodily injury or property damage or personal and advertising injury. The most typical lawsuit here would be spectator injury or participant injury. As far as the $5 million option is concerned, that's only available if it's required by written contract. We also offer a directors and officers liability policy with a limit of either $1 or $2 million, and it covers a different type of lawsuit. Examples would be discrimination based on race, sex, age, or handicap, wrongful suspension or termination of your personnel or players, and failure to follow your own rules or bylaws when you make an administrative decision. We also have a crime policy that comes into play in case you have insider theft or embezzlement. And we also have an equipment policy that will pay for damage to your sports equipment by fire, theft, vandalism, and wind. Here's a list of reasons why the endorsed AYF insurance program blows away the competition. We're a single source for all your insurance needs for all 5 policies. We have the group buying power, the high limits on the accident and general liability, the custom coverage enhancements. We offer sex abuse and molestation and non-owned and hired auto liability. We've also eliminated a number of other loopholes that are customarily found on sports insurance policies. We've already talked about our instant online 24/7 quote pay print capability. And we've already talked about how you can self-issue your own certificates of insurance at any time for new field owners. We're going to be talking about our best in industry risk management. But you take all these into account, and I think it's a no-brainer for what's in your best interest. I think everybody would agree that youth tackle football and cheer can be a higher risk than many other youth sports. Now, this is what you're up against. The average accident claim is $2,200. The average general liability claim is $71,000. And that's why you need insurance. But you can also be underinsured. That's if you buy inferior coverage from a competitor. Also, I'd like to suggest to you that you can be uninsured if you fail to report all of your teams and pay a premium on behalf of all of your teams, because the claims adjuster could deny the claim if you don't report accurately. As far as the largest claims we've seen in AYF history, we've had a heat stroke death claim of $1 million plus. Came out of Atlanta, I believe 2016. We've had a fall off of a parade float. We've actually had 2 falls off parade floats that have contributed to big claims. And we also had a charter bus injury back in 2018 with fatalities. Once again, I just wanted to reiterate that intentional underreporting of teams is insurance fraud, and the claim may be denied. So the number of teams reported to AYF AYC for membership purposes must equal the number of teams reported to Sadler Insurance, and vice versa. And while underwriting your insurance enrollment form, we do review websites and social media to find out if the numbers that you post match the numbers on your insurance enrollment. And also, the insurance carrier claims department may also review websites and social media. And one other point is the definition of a tackle team is no more than 36 players. We've had some situations, for example, where someone may say that the Cardinals, which consist of a 9 and under, a 12 and under, and a 15 and under team, they're all named the Cardinals, is only one team. But of course, that's not the case. That's 3 different teams, and a premium needs to be paid on behalf of 3 different teams. Let's talk a minute about the best way for a conference to apply for coverage. The conference should apply under its name, and it should add all the association names and report all teams on behalf of all associations under a single application. The advantages of doing it this way are, first of all, there's less chance of an association either not purchasing coverage at all or purchasing inferior coverage. The conference has also provided general liability to protect itself and its directors and officers at no additional charge. There's also automatic coverage for the conference when it hosts a regional championship, or if it sends all-star teams to the national championship. On the other hand, if the conference allows associations to separately purchase their own coverage, then the conference needs to buy its own separate policy, which does have additional premium cost. Our general liability policy does provide a $1 million sex abuse and molestation limit. However, it's very important for you to know that your coverage can be voided unless 3 things happen. Number 1, you must have a system in place and actually perform and run background checks on all of your paid staff and volunteers. Number 2, you must have written procedures that include sex abuse and molestation prevention. And number 3, your written procedures must include a response plan that require you to notify law enforcement within 24 hours. Let's take a minute to talk about the most important risk management content that you need to have in place. It's absolutely critical that the following risk management plans need to be in writing, and they should be adopted and implemented. And furthermore, when you join AYF, AYC, your terms of service agreement requires you to implement all of these. First is a waiver release for both minors and adult staff members. Second is a Safe Sport child abuse plan. It's required by the new Federal Safe Sport Act, and if you don't comply, it makes it a lot harder for you to defend yourself in a lawsuit. And it's also required by your insurance carrier so you don't void your $1 million coverage for sex abuse and molestation. You should also have a concussion awareness risk management plan and also a sample AYF, AYC risk management plan, which covers general risk management such as safety in your facilities, your equipment, your instruction, your supervision, your sports injury care, and your use of automobiles. So we provide all of these for free on the website. All you have to do is adopt them, distribute them to your staff, and get sign-off from your staff that they understand these plans and that they will comply with them. So once you adopt the 3 risk management plans that we just spoke about, how do you document that you've actually delivered them to your staff members and your staff members have agreed to comply? It's very important that you're able to document this to get it into evidence in the event of a lawsuit. There are different ways to do this. You could have an electronic signature as part of your online process for your staff. A lot of organizations use this where the staff register and they sign a waiver release, but you can also add language about these other risk management plans, and you can provide a link to them, and part of the I agree button, they can also agree that they understand and they're going to comply with these risk management plans. You can also use DocuSign and the alternative services. You can also use a paper registration form with a paragraph inserted for agreement to comply, and you get the wet signature and you keep it on file. And then the old school way is to have a meeting where the risk management programs are discussed, and then you pass a sheet of paper around and everybody signs the document stating that they took the training and they understand the policies and procedures and that they're going to comply. And it's very important that this documentation is kept for at least 16 years. The reason is it's theoretically possible for a child who's age 5 to wait until the age of 21 to file a lawsuit. I mentioned earlier that we had a very unfortunate incident where a player passed away due to heat stroke death. Heat stroke death is 100% preventable. All administrators and staff should read the article we have on our website on how to prevent heat stroke death. I want you to understand that heat index is out and wet bulb globe temperature is the new standard of care in lawsuits as regards cancellation or postponement. The problem is the wet bulb meter costs anywhere from $100 to $300, but you can get an app on your smartphone by Weather FX for under $1 that will provide a mathematical approximation of the wet bulb globe temperature at your location. I also want you to understand that you must have a cold water immersion tub on premises. It does not have to be expensive stainless steel medical grade. It can be a Rubbermaid container or a kiddie pool. And I also want you to know that you must start cold water immersion before EMS arrives. Group transportation can be a high-risk area in youth sports. 15-passenger vans should not be used because they have a high tip-over propensity. Better options would be a school bus, a charter bus, or to have a caravan of private passenger vehicles or minivans. Also, hiring a charter bus company is not risk-free. You're obligated under the law to research the safety record online of the charter company. You should also collect a certificate of insurance that provides evidence that they carry the $5 million auto liability limit that's required under federal law. And you should also make sure that the children wear safety belts. I can tell you that when we had the fatality claim back in 2018, the charter bus company did carry the $5 million limit of coverage, but there were also lawsuits against the AYF organization because they did not make the children wear safety belts. Thanks for being here today, and remember to always practice risk management. It takes just very little time, and our free resources make it incredibly easy. I can tell you that your volunteers and your kids are counting on you to make the right decision. And if there's anything we can do to help, you know where to contact us, and we will get back in touch with you promptly. Thank you.